clear out that, and let me add calendar calls, for example. Yeah, so I'm in the other strategies menu, and I'm just customizing my view. So I'm going to add calendar call there into tab number 7. Click Save. Okay, so now I've got calendar calls there. Let me go to search. Yeah, I'm almost positive you can't do it by direct strike price, Greg. I've actually never had that question come up before. How would I do this? Let's see. Let me think for a minute to figure out how I would do this. Bid price and the ask price. Sell, implied volatility, Black-Scholes. What would I do? I guess I would right now, I know, as I mentioned, we don't have the specific strike price screen. You can either do it by number of strikes in or out of the money or by the percentage. There's not a direct selection for strike price. When you're doing these calendar spreads, Greg, are you using horizontals or diagonals? In other words, if you're looking for the long call to be between 15 and 20, are you selling a 22.5 or a 25, a higher strike short call against that? Okay, looks like you are. All right. What I might try to manipulate in that case, I can talk to the programmers, and I can easily talk to the programmers after the presentation, or we can talk next week. I think one of the programmers might actually be gone for the day. But what I can look to do is see if we can have that included, a strike price selection included for you in the search tool, Greg. But for now, I think what you might have to do is try to manipulate the stock price range to find your long call first. So maybe look for a stock price range, let's say between 15 to 20. I don't know if that would work too well, and then use one of the percent ranges in or out of the money. So I'll take a look at that. I'll talk to the programmers, Greg, and see if I can get that added. And I'll let you know on Monday, or maybe even this afternoon if I get a chance to talk to them before they take off for the day. So right now there's no way to do that, and I think it can be done. Let me just check something very quickly. I'm going to go back into that other strategies menu. I'm going to pick a different strategy here. I want to take a quick look. Let me remove condors and bull put credits. I want to take a quick look at long straddle and why not short strangle for the moment. Let me just look. I want to look at these two search fields for a second, because I thought there was a field that we had. See, this one allows you to look for the strike under, number of strike under. It's very similar, but it doesn't have a specific strike. Oh, there it is. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can get that added for you, Greg, in the calendar calls and calendar puts, because we do have a static strike price filter that's listed for the straddles and strangles. So I should be able to get that over into the calendar spreads as well. Okay. But I knew I wasn't joking myself. I knew I'd seen the strike price search somewhere. I just don't use long straddles and long strangles that often anymore. All right. Let's see here. All right, Greg, yeah, I'll see what we can do with that. Oh, Greg, the sound cut out. Is anyone still able to hear me? Greg says that his sound cut out on him there for a little bit, so I'm not sure if everyone heard that. Wayne wants to know, this is a little bit harder for me to show. Let me see if I can do this. I'm going to do something very quickly. Let me try, oh, here we go. I know what I'm going to do. Let me do this real quick, ladies and gentlemen. Just give me half a second. Okay. Sorry, I'm just going to do something very quickly here. All right, fantastic. There's our screen again. Sorry about that. Now what I wanted to do is, I've had a problem with this in the past. I'm going to actually change my screen view. Let me go to here. Okay. Well, Wayne wanted to know, and this is back in the option chain that we were looking at earlier. Wayne wanted to know, do each of the parameters on the criteria page have a definition, such as a pop-up when you hover over to a different page? Yes, every one of those should. And what Wayne is inquiring about here, let's go back in that covered call screen we had before in the covered call search. So the new columns I added, if I hover over open interest, for example, in the column field, we should get a pop-up definition. I'm sorry, just navigated away from, there you go. Okay, so we had little pop-up definition, current option volume, for example. and so forth. And in addition to that, all the filters down below should also have a pop-up definition. It's a previous option volume, percentage stock volume. All of them should have a pop-up definition. You just have to make sure that you have pop-ups enabled. And of course, if you click on that link, there, I'm sorry, if I click directly on, let's say, price to book, for example, it should take me right to the glossary, and then I can just scroll through and find the filter. A lot of them should be tagged. That one should have been tagged. I apologize for that. That's something I'll look at. Most of them are tagged, by the way, so if I click on percent if assigned, it'll take me right into the tag field there for the percent if assigned and percent if assigned annual, for example. Okay? All right. And of course, if you do come across something, hold on one second, ladies and gentlemen. Just give me 1 second. If you do come across something, Wayne, that you're screening for and it doesn't have a pop-up definition or something comes up and it doesn't make sense, just let me know, and I'll try to change that for you, get a better description in there, and make sure there's a description for you. All right, real quick, I'm going to switch over to the screen and make sure I've got screen 2 selected now instead of screen 1. Awesome. Okay, fantastic. There we go. Excellent. All right. One moment, ladies and gentlemen. If you have questions, keep sending them in. I'm just going to reply to Greg real quick. Oh, okay. Greg, okay, right now, Greg, I guess you have sound back, or I hope you do. You just asked, can more than 8 strategies be displayed at one time? No, we're just showing the 8 strategies at a time. I think it would be very time-consuming. I understand why you'd want to have different ones so you can just go in and do different screens. But right now we only allow 8. I don't know about your personal trading, Greg. Right now I think the most strategies I trade at one time is 5. I have 5 different strategies at one time. Sometimes if the market suddenly shifts and we see a sudden decline or we see a sudden large gap up or large run up, I might have as many as 7 different strategies going at once. Collar spreads, protected spreads, for example, plus some maybe long calls positions and maybe some calendar spreads as well. But in a down market or a neutral market, I'm usually trading about 4 or 5 different strategies at a time. Really, I'll say in a neutral market, I'm only trading 2 or 3 at a time. Oh, okay, Greg, great. You got that back up on the computer. So we only have, when you go into the other strategies there, you only have those 8 selections. You can, of course, remove the custom spreads, and that'll allow you to have 8 full strategies. I usually have 7 and the custom spreads there, so I can always go into the custom spread and just build a strategy from scratch and see if I like the risk-reward ratio, total premium, and potential loss, for example. We do have a little bit of real estate there, but it's, yeah, right now we're only just going to allow those 8 tabs there. Just out of curiosity, Greg, how many strategies do you research or trade at one time? And I won't share it with the group if you don't want me to. I'm just curious. I remember at one time I had a customer who was essentially doing, I logged onto his portfolio during a coaching session. I couldn't make heads or tails. I think he had a total of 87 positions in 4 different portfolios across 12 different strategies. And that was enough to almost make my head explode at first because he wanted to go through a good portion of his positions during the coaching session to just talk about some of the risk-reward. It took me a while to go through all of that. Let's see here. All right. Do we have any other questions coming in? Okay. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I understand what you mean, Greg. Greg replied back and he says he agrees with limited number strategies, but sometimes likes to play around with others just to see if anything looks like something you might want to use now or in the future. And I do that too. Occasionally, what I'll do is I'll have during a trading cycle, and let's say that after December expiration, coming up, I'll enter new positions for maybe January, February expiration, or maybe some longer-term married puts, for example. And once I have all my positions in play that I'm using for that month, collars, I have a couple collars open, maybe some naked puts, maybe a calendar spread or 2, married puts, of course. What I'll do is I'll go into the other strategies, and I might just remove all of the ones that I'm actually currently trading, if I'm not planning on opening any new positions in the next 3 or 4 days, and just add in the other strategies I wanted to play around with. So I'll have a day or 2 or 3-day time period where I'm actually just researching new strategies as opposed to actually trading. I'll still monitor my open trades with the portfolio, for example. It's just something I play around with from time to time. If I wanted to do iron condors or the covered combinations, for example. I haven't done one of those in a while. And of course, if you have a question on, and this just goes for anyone on the line, if you have a question about a specific strategy you don't know what it is, for example, covered combination, you can always add it to your menu. And if you go to the main home page, you'll have a basic overview, of course, and you can always link to the strategy help page for the specific strategy to get more information there on the particular technique. All right, well, it's about 5:20. Let's see, what did we cover today? We talked about the weekly options and identifying those. We talked about screening just for dividends. And we talked about, of course, at the beginning, the 10-minute little light presentation on special dividends. Oh, Todd. Okay, great question, Todd. Let's go back into, let me change up my strategies again. Let me go back to the default strategies to answer this question. Okay, there we go. Great. I'm going to just go back into the covered call search for now. Todd asked a very good question. Is there any way to screen for stocks above 52-week highs or big movers that are optional or point gainers? Yes, yes, and no. Let me show you what I mean by that. Now, one of the fields that we have, Todd, that you can filter by is the percent of 52-week range. Okay, so let's just go from scratch again, and let's scroll down to the bottom and hit clear our settings. We'll keep in the January expiration cycle, but I'm going to empty all the filters out. I'm going to use that basic restriction of just the one strike, between 1 to 1 strikes at or out of the money. And here's our percent of 52-week range. So if I wanted to look for stocks that are in the lower, let's say 20 percentile of the 52-week range, I just put in a range of blank to 20. However, if I wanted to look for stocks that are in the upper 80 percentile, 80% or higher of the 52-week range, we'll just put in 80 to blank, greater than 80%. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's look for anything that's above 99 percentile of the percent 52-week range. Let's see what we have there. Got some good stocks there, 431. All right, well, let me check something here. What I want to do is go into that See More or Less Columns button again, and I'm sorting by percent of 52-week range. Well, there's the total of the 1-year range, but I want the percentage. There it is, percent of range, and I selected just the 1-year range itself, so let's click Save and Return and close the window. All right, so let's take a look at the first one there. Audio codes, AUDC, currently at close today at 556, percent of range.